Well, the ice storm is putting Canadians' lives in danger for a fifth day. And there's a new hazard now. Desperate people trying to protect themselves from the cold run the risk of poisoning themselves and their families. This is just one of several overnight scenes in Ontario. Emergency workers responding to calls about carbon monoxide poisoning. And so far, there have been 2 deaths in Ontario. The problem is some people are trying to heat their homes with generators that aren't properly ventilated. In some areas, they're even using charcoal barbecues, and that can be deadly. Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne spoke more about those dangers at a news conference earlier today.
I want to start this morning by saying how deeply saddened I was to learn of the death of 2 people, a son and his mother in Newcastle yesterday afternoon. My heart's with their friends and family, and I know that this is a tremendously difficult time. This tragic situation and some other injuries in Toronto and elsewhere underscore the danger that's posed by carbon monoxide, and it's vital that everyone heed the warnings of the emergency officials. So do not heat your home with devices that are designed for outdoor use, particularly barbecues or outdoor generators. Electrically connected smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms will not work when the power is out, so it's important to have battery backups. And in the briefing this morning, I noted to folks that a lot of people don't have those battery backups. So if your detectors are hardwired into your home, it's a good idea to get a battery backup if you don't have one.
That's Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne speaking earlier today in Toronto. Well, some 90,000 customers are still without power in Toronto. City officials held their own briefing early this morning. They say they're making good progress in their battle to reconnect homes and businesses, but they're also warning people not to get their hopes up. It's a challenging job. Despite the crisis, there is a bit of a holiday mood at Toronto City Hall. CBC's Jamie Strachan is there.
Here at Toronto City Hall, the Christmas spirit in full swing, the annual choral concert going on right now as we speak. So if you hear some caroling, don't be alarmed. As I said, the Christmas spirit in full swing in Toronto, but many customers, many people living in this city, around 100,000 customers, Toronto Hydro customers, still without power heading into Christmas Eve. And it's not going to be a full restoration of service anytime soon. They should bring a bulk of the customers back online within the next 24 to 48 hours, but it could be a while until the full system is restored, says Mayor Rob Ford.
We're doing everything in our power to get the hydro back to everybody as soon as possible. We would like to say this will be done tomorrow. That's not going to happen, folks.
So hydro crews out continuing to work to restore power for the many customers in Toronto still without power on this Christmas Eve. Also hearing from emergency officials this morning a huge spike in calls around CO2 in the home. As you heard from Premier Wynne, people obviously not heeding the caution, bringing things like barbecues into their homes, unsafe and definitely not a good idea.
Yeah, definitely not. And Jamie, we just heard from Premier Kathleen Wynne. You were listening in. What role is the province playing in this?
Well, there was a lot made here in Toronto whether Mayor Ford should have called a state of emergency and what that exactly would have meant for provincial resources on the ground here in Toronto. But I can tell you that things like the OPP on 401 off-ramps, forestry equipment, the province is involved in things like that. They're involved. Sunnybrook Hospital, one of the big hospitals in Toronto, was without power yesterday. A provincial emergency response team was there. The key thing that's happening on the ground in Toronto right now is hydro crews from areas like Ottawa, from the state of Michigan, are coming in, working on the ground, and that should expedite things in terms of bringing hydro service back up and running here in the city of Toronto as we head into the thick of the Christmas holidays.